Welcome. Today, we're going to walk through how to manage this information inside of this spreadsheet, but we're going to do it by converting this spreadsheet into a Microsoft list, and then we're going to use Power Apps to manage the list. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, that seems like a lot of work. It can be at the beginning, but I guarantee you, as you do and take these very simple steps to convert and get away from these spreadsheets, put them into lists, you can do amazing things with these lists, all native with an application that can govern how you input and manage data, as well produce amazing automated results in reports and dashboards. So please take a minute. It's going to be a few minutes because this is an I do, you do series. So I'm going to walk you through very slow how to do this, and so you can get up and running very fast. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to it. So the first thing that we are going to start from is the Excel spreadsheet. So here I have an Excel spreadsheet. It's on my local PC, and it has these columns right here. Now I'm going to take out this ID column. Let's just say it doesn't have that one. Okay, and so we have these three columns: task name, number one, number two, cost, and company name. Okay, and let's add one other thing. Let's add notes. Okay. So we have these three items. We're going to import this data right here, right into the list itself. We're going to import the structure, and then we're going to create a Power App to manage the information. This is going to be very exciting. But you have to start with an Excel spreadsheet. So if you don't have an Excel spreadsheet, please create this Excel spreadsheet. And to create an Excel spreadsheet, just open up Excel, hit New, type in the column headers, and put in some data. That's it. Pretty simple. So I'm going to pause and wait for you. If you don't have that spreadsheet, go ahead. It might be easier to follow along with this video if you just create the spreadsheet like we've created it, with just these simple 6 columns here, and then we can work through it together. So I'll pause and wait for you. Go ahead and create the spreadsheet. Pause this video. Create it just like you see here. Don't worry about the data. We don't need any of the data. We just need the structure right here. So I'll wait. Go ahead. So while you were working on that spreadsheet, I went ahead and just entered one row of data just so we can see what we're going to do next. But you can enter this if you want. So I'll wait again. Just go ahead and pause the video and enter in row 2 here. All right, welcome back. So let's go ahead and get this spreadsheet ready to port into a list. To do that, we're going to highlight, just with our mouse, we're going to highlight this data right here. Okay, pretty easy. And to do that, remember, you just click once with your left mouse button, hold it down, and drag it across. Another way you can do this is click once. I'm right here in cell A1. Hold down the Shift key and use your arrow keys on your keyboard to go up, down, left, right, and highlight all the text. Got it? Now we're going to format this as a table. To do that, we're right here under Home, and you can see right there Format. Now, for some reason, you don't see Format. It may look like this, and if your spreadsheet's really small, it's kind of hard to get rid of Format. So here it is right here. Format as a table. And I just click this first one because it doesn't really matter that much. So click on that. And then it's going to ask you, do you want to do these fields? Notice the dashed line, that means we're going to do those fields. And you're going to say, my table has headers. Okay, we're going to hit OK. All righty, and not now. That's that. Pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. This is really kind of the first step. Get the spreadsheet ready. Let's go ahead and close that spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to wait for you. I need you to open up Office 365 on your computer and click on the waffle button right there. Click on the waffle. So open up Office 365. Remember, it's office.com. Use your username and password. Sign in and meet me here so we can go on to the next step. Okay, so you should be here. You should see your waffle down, and we're going to go ahead and click on lists. So go ahead, click on lists, and then the lists are going to open. Notice we have a bunch of lists in here, but what we want to do is we want to create a new list. So click on new list right there. Now from new list, we're going to do this from an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so we're going to click on from Excel. Now we're going to say, well, where is that? Well, we want to upload a file. So we're going to go ahead and click upload a file. Now it's going to ask us where that is. Now I told you at the beginning, we put that in downloads. And there it is right there. And notice right here, source from Excel. Perfect. It's exactly what we want. So we're going to click once on it, or we could double click on it, but we're going to hit open. Now what this is going to do is it's going to load the tables. Now if you forgot to convert your spreadsheet into a table, then we have an issue, right? You got to go back and convert it, but we did that. So you should be here. We're at the customize spot for that table inside of that spreadsheet. Notice task name, num1, num2, cost, and company name, okay? And notes. So this is all of the data that we import in. So if you're, I'm going to pause for a minute. You need to be here before we go to the next step. So if you're not here, pause the video, get here, rewind the video back to the last chapter and review and get yourself here. All right, let's get started again. So now that you're here, let's go ahead and we need to make sure that these fields are right. Now, I should have just kept this open. Whoops. I should have kept the Excel spreadsheet open. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Excel spreadsheet because it's easier if you look at the spreadsheet as you're doing this sometimes if you don't know what the fields are. Okay, so we're going to pull that away and we're going to see what they are. And I'm going to show you why this is important. So notice here that it says the first field, it says check the column type. So we do want to do that. We're going to click on this and we're going to say it's a single line of text because it's a task name, right? And we're going to pop that thing back up there. All right. And so we want to change that to single line of text, single line of text. Notice here num1 is a number. So those are numbers. So that looks good. Num1 is called a title. It's not a title. It's a number. So we're going to click on number. Okay. Now, for some reason, it wants to give us just a title. Do you guys see that? Well, that's kind of a bummer. So we're just going to keep it as title. Okay. And we'll change that later. Num2 is a number. The third one is currency. Remember, if we look at our spreadsheet, it's currency, it's cost. This one is a company name, so single line of text will work. But this one are notes, so we're going to do multiple lines of text. Now, we've got to go back and do some tweaks to these, but this should be good to begin with. Hit next. Now, we're going to say, what are we going to call this? We'll call that, sure. And then we're going to create the list. Do not create in my lists because we need it inside of SharePoint. So let's go ahead and click, this is my list, recent sites. Personal is the one I usually pick. We click on there. You could pick on any of them. It doesn't really matter. Give it a name and then say create. What this will do is it's going to take your spreadsheet and it's going to create the list for you. And it does it pretty quick. Of course, it depends on the amount of data you have in it and so on and so forth. All right. So here you can see this is small text, a number. Okay. Now it happens to be in title. I'm not a big fan of it being saying title. I want to rename this. So I'm going to rename this task name. Okay. So here we have task 1, number 2, cost. Right? Notice the little icons. We're good to go there. This is a text, and notice this one has multiple lines. That means it's multiple text. But we want to take a look at this real quick. We want to go column settings, and then we want to go and, I think we could edit this. Let's edit it. It says multiple lines of text. Everything looks good. Let's do this multiple options. Okay, it's not showing what I want it to show here. So let's go ahead And first of all, let's pause for a minute. Make sure you have your list. It should say something like this. We should have these fields. I'm going to pause. If you don't, get to this point. All right. So let's go ahead and manage. We want to double check on this multi-text form field. And the reason column, I'm going to get it right one of these times. The reason why we want to do this is because we want to make sure that the text is right. So we're going to go and click on the settings right there and go to list settings. See it right there? We're in our list settings. Now we're going to go down here to notes. See it right there? Multiple lines of text. We're going to click on that. Now this is just a little trick that you want to be aware of. It's done right. It's clicked plain text. That's what we want. We do not want rich text or enhanced text because within SharePoint, within Power Apps and Power Automate, it adds a bunch of characters because it's HTML. It's not plain text. We want it plain text. We can make the text look like anything you want it to look like, but keep it as plain text. You'll save yourself some headache. All right, the list is great. Congratulations, you've created your first list. Now we're going to manage this information. Now, why do we want to do this? We want to do this because this is a lot of data, and you don't want people in here, especially if you have lots and lots and lots of columns. You don't want people in here messing around and changing things. You want them doing it through an app. So let's go ahead and create an app. Now, there's an easy way you can do it. You can say right here, Power Apps, create an app. But we don't need to do that because it creates it in its format and adds some stuff to it that we may not want. Let's just create it just from scratch because it's really easy. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go to your waffle again. Go to Power Apps, and it's going to open up right to here. And then we're going to say create blank app, create new app. Okay, so I'll pause for a minute, let you catch up. We went create, and then we selected something right here, blank apps, and then we're going to select create right here. And here, we're just going to put this as video test and 2224. Okay, and we're going to say in a tablet format, and it's going to be a Canvas app. We're just going to hit create. Now it's just going to create a blank canvas for us, and that's okay. That's what we want. It's exactly what we want. Now we need to add, the first thing we need to do is add data, right? We need to add this data. So we need to be able to access this source from Excel. It's really, really easy. So we're going to go ahead and select data, and we're going to type in here, add data. We're going to click on here and say add data. And here we're just going to type SharePoint. Now why? Because it's a SharePoint list. Remember, although it says lists, notice the icon? Notice the icon? It's a SharePoint list. Remember I told you, put it in a SharePoint site. It says site, but site and SharePoint, same thing, instead of just a list. And we put it, if you remember right, into personal. So we're going to click on personal, and then we're going to find that one that we just created, which is called source from Excel. So let's just go ahead and look for that. We can just do underscore source, and there it is right there. Source from Excel. We're going to click on it and hit connect. Now we can add multiple fields if we want. We're just going to click on this one. And now we're cooking. Now we have the data. Now what does this mean? This means that we can add and do anything to the data that we want right now. With just a few extra steps, we're going to be managing the data, and I'm going to show you, you can enhance this, and I'll give you some of the tips and tricks, but it's pretty easy to build this out any way that you want to. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a minute, let you catch up. Make sure that your Power Apps looks like my Power Apps. Remember, we created a new Power App. We went to data, we hit add data, we typed in SharePoint list, we picked over here personal, that was the SharePoint list, and then we found the list that we created. This list right here, we found it and we clicked on it, and there it is, source from XLS, source right here, source from XLS. So we're looking at this list. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy. Now we're good to go. So I'm going to pause and wait for you. Go ahead and do that. All right. Hopefully you're here. If you're not, go back at this point and view the rest of the past video, because I think you're going to find it pretty easy to get to here. Now all we have to do is add the data. So there's nothing to be intimidated about this program. It's actually pretty easy. Of course, everything's easy if you've been doing it a while and you have somebody giving you the hints along the way. But I'm here to give you those hints. So let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna want to look at our data and modify it. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to click on Insert. Now, first thing I want to show you is Screen 1 Automatic. It creates when you create the app. We can add more screens, and we'll talk about that in another video. But here, we're just on Screen 1. We're going to hit Insert, and we're going to just type in gal here. And we want a blank vertical gallery, a blank vertical gallery. So we're just going to click on that. And now it's going to ask us, where do you want me to pull the data from to see in this gallery? Well, I want you to pull it from this list that I just imported. I'm just going to click on that. Now, this gallery, notice here, items from the gallery is equal to this, source from Excel. Okay, now I like to rename things, so I would name this gal underscore, and I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to hit Control C, okay, and Control V is in Victor, and then hit the tab key. So I know where this gal is coming from, okay, where this gal is coming from. All right, anyways, look at these handles right here. We can make this go any way that we want, okay? So we have the data. We can make it go full screen, partial screen, anything we want. But now we're really talking about managing this data. So we need to click on the gal itself, and we need to click right here to edit gallery. This is an important piece. Make sure you've clicked here. Let's say I don't click here. Let's just say I click on the gallery and I say insert a text input. We don't want you doing this, by the way. Notice that it's here, but it's not in the gallery, right? It can go outside of the gallery. Can you see that? I can go anywhere. That's not what you need to do. Click here, click Edit Gallery. Now go here and say, give me a text input box. Notice now that this line turns dashed, and see the field right there. And look, I can't get it out of there. That's good. So when you add a field, to make sure that you're adding it to the gallery, you can just drag it around and kind of bump it up on the sides and top. Then you know that you're in there. And this now is a text input field. And a text input field means that it's data that we're going to input or modify within this application. Pretty simple. So we're just going to go and say, okay, this is perfect. We like this the way it is, or we don't like it the way it is. I'm going to change this to 11, okay? And I'm going to change this height right here, see it over here, to 25. Watch. Gets a little shorter. And I'm going to say, hey, I don't want that at 2 for the border. I want it at 1, and I want to make it dotted. Now, and that's what that looks like. So I can give it a different color. Let's just say I want to make it red. Look at that. Okay, or I can say, hey, I want to pull attention to this. I want to give it a background of blue. Okay, and then I want to give the text white. So you can do all kinds of things like this. We just want to set it so that it's what we want, because we're going to copy it. So I'm going to take that off. I don't want any color in there. And I'm going to put this guy back to black. Okay, so, and I'm going to turn this guy right here on the line back to black. Look, you can't do anything to this. So play with it, experiment, figure it out. It's pretty easy. But I'm here at text input. We're good to go. Now we need to add some fields. Okay, so we need to add some fields from our list. So I'm going to pull this list out here just so that we can see it on the screen while we're working. Okay? And so there is the list, and we'll keep going back to it. The first thing I want to add is task name. So I'm going to just go back to my gallery here for my text input. I'm going to highlight that with my mouse. Notice I'm right here and I'm right here. Okay? And I'm going to type in this item. Now, notice that I'm just doing it in lowercase. It doesn't matter because it automatically converts it. And then we want to type in task name. Do you see that right there? If you hit your tab key, it'll accept it. And notice that it changed it to task name the way it is spelt inside of the list, right? Task name. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead. And that's good right there. Okay? So we're good. Now we're going to double click here. See how we highlighted that? Hold down our control key and hit C for copy. C for copy. Then we're going to double click here and we're going to type in TXT because it's a text input box. And then we're going to hit Control, hold down your control key on your keyboard and hit V for Victor, task name. And then hit the tab key. Now what we've done is we've named this field. So we know what the name of this field is, and this is going to become very handy for you when we set up the save button. We like this field, so we're just going to do this. We're going to highlight it. See how we have the handles on it? We can go back here, click, edit, click on it. The handles are good to go. We're going to hold down the control key and hit C for copy. Hold down the control key. Don't do anything with the mouse. Hold down the control key. Hit V. V as in Victor for paste. Notice here, it pastes right in. Now, can we get out? Nope. That means we're on the first record. We're good to go. Okay? Now, that's going to cover one of the fields, the number 1 field. We're going to do another one. So we're going to just hold down the control key and hit V as in Victor. This is going to be the next one for num2. And see how we're laying it out? We can do anything we want here, and I'll show you some tricks here in a minute. And then we need to get a cost, company name, and notes. So let's do 2 more of those boxes. So again, because we're already in the copy mode, we're going to hit Control V again. And we're going to go there. There's number 4. Now, if you're lost at this point, you're saying, oh, crap, I must have hit or clicked or done something wrong. Don't worry. You're in good shape. Click, I'm going to stop right now and help you out. Click on this. Click on the edit gallery. Click on task right there. Click on it. See the handles? Hold down your control key and hit C for copy. Now, without doing don't touch anything else. Hold down the control key again and hit V for Victor. Perfect. See? You're cooking now. All right, so we've got the 5 fields in there. We can do anything we want with these fields and put them anywhere that we want, any size that we want, anything. Okay? So let's take this first one right here. We're going to leave this one as task, and we're going to change this one to num1. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do, because this is a number field, we're going to adjust it. Do you see the width right there? It says width. You can use the elevator bar, but then the height will change because you never quite get it right. So I just do this. I just do like 150, hit the tab key, and the box shrinks. Shift tab on your keyboard will go back. Now I want it a little smaller. 100, tab, make the box again. Shift, hold down the shift key, then hit tab. Oh, I can go back. Let's make it 75. Tab. Okay? Now we're doing great. We've got this on there, but it's not task 1 that we want. We want num1. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click right here. Num1. Notice that num1 appears right here. We can click on it with our mouse. Notice it says 1. We're going to double click again on it. Hold down the control key, hit C for copy. Notice here, we're in this task right here, right? We're going to double click on this And then we're going to take out this, and we're going to do Control V. Okay. Whew. Let's pause there. I know we're going fast. We're doing a bunch of stuff. I want to make sure you're still with me. So here, I'm going to hit the Tab key. And now we have num1. So what have we done? We've copied all of these things. I'm going to go through it again real slow with you. Let's get rid of these, and we can do it together. So follow me. I'm going to click on my gallery. Okay, click on your gallery. Click on your edit gallery. Edit gallery. Click on this. All right, it's the num1 field. Num1 field. Notice we're still in edit gallery because the dotted lines are there. We're going to hold down our control key on our keyboard. Hold it down. Don't let go. Just hold it down. Hit Control C as in copy. Keep that control key pressed. Don't let it up. Now hit Control V for paste. V is in Victor. Paste. Boom. Now you have another field in there. You see it? It's really that easy. Now we're going to double click right here. Go ahead, double click where it says default. If this moved for some reason, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just go in here, find default. Double click. And we want to name this MUM2. Now, I typed in num2. It found it right there. I could click on it, or I could hit my tab key. Okay? Notice it says 2. We're going to double click on it again. Control C. And then we're going to double click here. TXT underscore Control V. And we're going to rename it. So this is task num1, num2. Pretty easy. I can readjust this, for example. I can go down here and I can say, hey, I need that to be wider. I have the handlebars on, right? I've clicked on it right here. I'm going to say I want it to be 400. I'm going to type in 400 and this click to the next field and it gets bigger. Or I can do tab and shift tab to go backwards. It's about that easy. It's really not that tough, okay? So that's how we do that. And we create these boxes here, and we can drag them around and move them around. We can reorder them, align them, just like you're working in any application like PowerPoint, something like that. It's pretty easy, okay? The last thing we're going to add here is the field. We have several fields. We don't have to use them all. We're going to add company name and notes. So those are text fields. Here's task. So we're going to click on it. Now we're going to do this one different. Click on here, hit copy. Click up here, hit paste. Now, notice that when it pasted it, is it in the gallery? It's not, because we can move it around. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. And also notice that it's outside of the gallery itself. Click there, hit delete. Let's click on that one again. Task name. But instead this time, we're going to do Control C, Control V for Victor. Notice where it ended up. It's underneath the gallery. That's exactly where we want it. And we're stuck. That's exactly what we want. And here, we're going to put in, what was it? Shoot, I totally forgot. Sorry. Company name. That's right. So we're going to put in here company name. There it is right there. Hit tab. Double click on it. Control C as in Charlie. Double click. This is a text field. TXT underscore. Control V as in Victor. Company name. Hit tab. Easy peasy. We're going to do it one more time. Control C. Control V. We're going to put in notes. Double click. Type in notes. There it is right there. Hit my tab key. Okay, we got it. I can do this. Double click on that. We're going to hit Control C. Boom. We're going to double click on the name of the field right there. We're going to double click. TXT underscore notes. Boom. Okay, so what have we done so far in this video? We've imported a spreadsheet from an Excel spreadsheet. We've created a list right here, and we've created our first application. So if we hit run right here, oh, first of all, let's expand that gallery so you can see. So we have the gallery that is that big. If we hit edit, notice here that our edit field is there. So we're going to move this up like this, okay? And just to test it, we're going to go over to our SharePoint list, which is not that one. So where'd my SharePoint list go? Oh, it's right down here. So let's say we don't know where our SharePoint list is, by the way. Let's close it. We could go right here to data. We could click on the three dots and we could say edit data. And then our SharePoint list is going to pull right up. See it right there? Perfect. Now we're going to edit this spreadsheet, this list, by edit in grid. Now we're going to hold down the shift key using my arrow keys. I'm going to highlight the fields. And then again, I'm going to do control, hold down the control key on your keyboard, hit C, okay? Release all the keys on the keyboard, click on add new item, hold down the control on your keyboard, control V as in Victor. There we go. We're going to change this to task 2. And then we're going to hit exit. And that's going to save it for us. Now the numbers are exactly the same. So let's just double click on this and change this number to DEF. And we're going to say, yes, I, whoops, must have hit something else right here. Okay, yes. I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's weird. All right. It was picking up my voice somehow. That's kind of weird. Okay. Yes, I can. I can do this. Yes, I can. Okay. Now we're going to go back over to our Power App. Notice we're still only seeing one record here. Let's go ahead and click on this bad boy and hit refresh. All right. It's going to refresh the data. Bing. Notice here I have 2 records. If I go back to my tree view, everything's the same. If I go up here to preview this app, now see how I can see the data? See how I can change it potentially? All right. Pretty easy, right? You can see everything. Now, this is far from where we need the application to be. This is a great place probably. Well, let's just continue on. This is exciting. Let's continue on. So this is our first record right here. And this is the second record in the gallery. And if you had a lot of records, it would just continue to go. If I click on the gallery itself, notice how big it is. If I pull up on this bar, notice that it goes away. It doesn't really go away though, because if I hit the play button, notice here, there it is. Okay? So now I'm looking at my Excel spreadsheet, or my list in this case. Instead of looking at the numbers this way, I could make it look like this, by the way. I'm looking at it this way. All good. Now I need to set up save. So this is where we're going to stop this video. We're going to save, but we need to get this through in this video. So to save, I need to go back to my gallery. I need to click right here on my edit gallery. And I'm going to add something called a toggle. So go ahead and click on insert. Type in toggle, T-O-G-G-L. I'll wait for you. There it is right there. Go ahead and do that. Hit toggle. Do you see toggle appear on your screen? Good. Good. You're doing good. Now, let's take that toggle and go over here and say visible. Nope. Click it no. And now the toggle goes away. And that's okay, because I'm going to show you the toggle doesn't matter. Okay? Now, we're going to make, what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, I need you to look at this data in these fields, and I need you to compare it with this data here. If you see a problem, then I want you to save. If you don't see a problem, I want you to ignore. And the reason why we do that is because we don't, if this is a huge list, let's say it's 500 records, you don't want it saving each record each time. You only want it saving the records that have changed. So that's what the toggle's for. So we're just going to go ahead and click on the toggle, and we're going to go ahead and program it to look for these changes in these 4 fields. So the way we do that, and follow along with me. So click on your toggle. Good. Now go up to the arrow and go to default. Right there. Now for default, I want you to type in this item dot, and I want you to do the first one right here, notes. Notice we labeled them TXT. Why? Because those are text input fields, and we know when we're doing this exercise that we have to do all of them like this. Okay? So we're going to type in TXT, and we're going to do the very first one, and the field name is notes. So we're going to type in notes. And there it is. It appears for us. Click on it. Now we're going to say, hey, if this item, by the way, means this is sourced from XLS, that is the definition of quote unquote this. This is this. All right. So here we're saying that the item in the list called notes is not equal to this field right here, txt underscore notes. And it's a text field, so we're going to type in dot text. Okay, so now this save button just says, hey, if it's not, and let's turn this back to visible. If it's different, make this change. So let's see that in action real quick. If you hit play and I change this, okay, and I move to the next field, this thing, I don't know why it just didn't change. Oh, because it's not notes. I'm like, oh man. Okay, there it is right there. Notice we got rid of the S and it changed. Why? Because the S is right here. I can do this. We took off this. Now, if I put the S back, watch what happens. Perfect, right? This is great. So this means that it's tracking and it's working. What we just did with that patch command is working. So we're going to go back to the toggle and we're going to write all of these in there. So I'm going to pause the video. I want you to use this same format. So we're going to say or, okay, and then we're going to add these. I'm going to pause the video, let you do that. I'm going to do it, and we'll meet back up here in just a second. All right, now you should be typing. I thought I hit pause, but I didn't. You should be typing in these, and you're going to run into a problem right here when you get down to num2. So let's do it together. So this item dot num2, I'm just going to hit tab, is not equal to, okay, txt underscore num2 dot what? It's not there. Text, okay, good. But look, it's giving me a squiggly line. Well, that's not right. The squiggly line means something's wrong. And the reason why it's wrong is because it's looking at this field right here, okay, this one right here, this number 2, and look at what type of field this is. This is a number field. We don't have that up, but this, take my word for it. This is a number field. We put it in. So that's wrong. It's not going to work. So what we have to do is go right before that text field, and we have to type in value because it's a number field. So we're going to type in value, open paren, and then we're going to close the paren there. Now, notice no red squiggly lines. So let's continue. Enter in num1 and enter in task name. Okay, now yours should look like this. If we hit format text, it doesn't help, by the way. But let's see here. We have something wrong here. Task name. Notice that these are all lit up, right, in the colors. So pink, pink, green, green, blue, blue, orange, orange. So you can kind of track to see where everything is, make sure it's working. But notice here, I have 2 pinks. Well, that's because I typed something wrong. I shouldn't have notes here. I should have task name. So I'm just going to highlight that, just like that. I'm just going to type in task, and notice it pops right up. I'm going to click on it, task name. Now it's blue, and if you see right there, well, it's not working so well, but see kind of blue right there? See, there we go. There we go. So all of them match, or whatever color that is. Okay, so they all match. Everything's good to go. Notice our visible thing is off. So we're in good shape here. We're not saving. Let's go ahead and modify some of this data and see if that button changes. Okay, so task 1, we're going to go ahead and, whoops, of course it changed. We're going to go ahead and, whoop, it changed. Why? Because it's noticing the change. Yep, it changed. It's noticing the change. Yep, it changed. It's noticing the change. Yep, it changed. Boy, I got to stop interrupting myself. It works. That's exactly what we would want to do. And it'll do the same thing for task 2. Okay? All right. So there we go. Okay. So everything looks great. It's exactly the way we want it. We've got it. Now we're set up to be able to save. So we've got all of this in this gallery. We've got our fields set up. Now remember, you can set up these fields any way that you want, but I'm going to add a save button here real quick. So I'm going to pause for a minute. If you're not here, go back. Hopefully you're here, because we've gone through this. It's really, really not that difficult, but I know it's intimidating. And so take your time, go back if you need to make sure everything's working right. Let's go ahead and hit insert. And by the way, don't be wigged out if this toggle button's freaking out. It's not the most consistent thing. So just make sure you program everything in exactly like I did with toggle 1. Okay? This is the code that you need. So pause, write this down, repeat, and do it for every single one. Now we need to add that button. So we're going to add it on screen 1. We're going to say insert, and I'm just going to type in button. Okay, and there's a button right there for me. I'm just going to click on it. Okay, and there we go, button. And we're going to double click on this button, or we'll click over here in the text, and we'll just hit save. Okay, good deal. So that's our save button. So now all we need to do is write the code to save this information here back to our list, and then we are done. So stay tuned. I know this has been a little bit, but when you get done, you're going to be able to totally manage this Excel spreadsheet from wherever you are. It doesn't really matter where you are. So let's go ahead and see what we got going here. So go ahead and catch up. If you're not, we're going to do the save button for our last step. To do this, I always pull out my handy dandy guide here that I have where I do copy and paste from. If you need this, just email me. My email's at the end of the video, and I'll send this to you. So I'm just going to copy this right here, because this is going to be the code that we're going to use. I'm going to copy it and hit copy, and then I'm going to paste it in right below it, and I'm going to modify it here before I go into my actual data structure. So inside my actual app. So here we're going to change this. This is the name of the gallery of the list. So I'm just going to type in source from XLS, and this is the exact name that I'm pulling right from here. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Wrong. This is the gallery. See, that's why I write it down, because I forget all the time. Our gallery right here is gal source from XLS. So we're just going to type in the gallery itself. Why is it gallery? Because we're looking at all the items, okay? All the items. The toggle is toggle 1. So we're going to go ahead and change this to toggle 1. And the data is right here. This is the list, which is this right here, source from Excel. So we're just going to double click on that and replace that. And we're going to say this record, and then we're going to type in these fields. Now these fields, this is going to be the first one, which is notes. So we can just type in notes, and then this is a text field. so we can just type in notes. Now you can do this in Power Apps. I just do it in a document. I'm going to show you both ways. Let's just do one, and then we'll show you the rest inside of Power Apps. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to copy this up, hit copy, and then we're going to go straight over to Power Apps, onto the Save button, and it's on Select that we want to do. Hit paste. Okay, now you can see that we have some errors, so we're going to go ahead and fix what we have here. So here, we want to make sure we're picking the right gal. So we're going to do gal. There it is right there, source from. Make sure we're picking the right toggle, which we are. Toggle 1, okay? And then we're going to patch from this right here, which is our, our list source right there, but there's an underscore. That wasn't very happy about that. And then this record, and then we're going to go notes, and notes is capitalized, okay? And then there we go. So now that is working. So if we change notes, we're going to go ahead and get everything that we need off of that. So let's just hit save for notes real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and start this, and we're going to go to notes. I can do this and put some exclamation marks. I'm going to hit save. Okay, notice it's come back, and we're ready to save again. Let's go over this. Oh, it's not there. Let's refresh. Boom. There it is. So now that works perfectly. So now let's just go ahead and program in everything else. And if you haven't caught this, go back, but we're going to program in the rest of the records. So we're just going to put in a comma. Whoops. I don't know why this is doing this now. All right. We're going to put in a comma, put in this little guy here. We're going to go to the next one, which is company name, right? And then we're going to type in the field, which is text underscore company name, and that's a text field. Boom. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a number one here next. So we're going to put in the two squigglies. We're going to put in num1, and then we're going to type in the name, txt underscore num1 dot text. Okay, now, why is it giving us an error? Well, remember, it's going to give us an error because this is a numeric value. So we're going to type in value, open paren, and then we're going to do a close paren after that, and we should be error-free, and we are. We're going to go ahead and fill in the other ones, catch up to where we are. I'm going to stop, let you do this, and get yours up to snuff. I'll type it in, and we'll compare notes in just a minute. All right, so your end result's going to look just like this without any errors. Okay, look good? All right, so now any of these that you change will work. So let's change this to 10. Let's change this to 10, 20, ABC, CDE. Okay, I can do this. Yes, I can. Okay, and let's just do that. We'll do this one 20, and we'll add zeros to here as well. All right, you bet, and hit save. Okay, notice it turns gray while it's saving. Everything's saved. Let's go over to here, refresh. And boom, now you got all this updated information. Congratulations. I know that was long, but you have now created these fields that you can edit any list that you want right inside of Power Apps. This becomes an app you can use and publish just like this. It's that simple. Now, tune into other videos. We're going to add a search button in here and add where we can edit details on another page. We're going to build upon this, but this is long enough for one video. Hopefully you'll be able to follow along, go back and do as I did. Good luck.